have been hiding this from you. The Great Pyramid of Giza is not just a massive stone structure built by primitive cultures. They've been lying to you. There is strong evidence that the pyramids were once covered by a flood. The creatures who built these structures knew how to use Earth's energy and had a deep understanding of the stars. All the pyramids are aligned with the Orion constellation, showing their advanced knowledge of astronomy and ability to harness celestial energy. But here's where it gets even crazier. The materials used to build the pyramid were intentional. The Nile River used to flow much closer to the pyramids. Satellite images and geological studies show that ancient Nile channels once brought water right to the pyramid's base. The pyramid's base is made of granite blocks filled with quartz crystals. Quartz has piezoelectric properties, meaning it generates an electric charge under pressure. The pyramid's heavy weight creates this pressure, producing a continuous electric charge. The Nile's water acted like a hydroelectric dam. These were not just tombs built by slaves, they were advanced energy machines. Think about it, why would a tomb need electricity?
In the winter of 1937, a military expedition vanished beyond the Antarctic shelf. No final report, no names recorded, only reels of damaged film recovered decades later. The footage shows what they found: a wall of ice stretching beyond the limits of geography, carved not by nature but by something deliberate. And behind it, what appears to be a structure, an ice citadel etched with faces no historian can place. They made their way through the main passage, boots dragging across frost that hadn't melted in centuries. The first chamber held no furniture, no tools, only a black pedestal humming quietly as if waiting to be used. Further in, the rooms grew stranger, ceiling carvings that matched no known language, walls etched with symbols that glowed faintly under lantern light. And then they entered what the documents call the Celestial Room, a dome of perfect symmetry, star maps etched in mirrored eyes spanning constellations we have yet to name. They weren't just charting the sky, they were marking something, a path, a warning, a return. And now, after nearly a century, we have to ask, were they the first to find it or simply the last to disappear?
What the elites are trying to hide could change everything you know. The book Know the Only Truth, silenced by many, reveals hidden truths and secrets your government never wanted you to know. Click the link in my bio to learn more before it's too late.
See if your history teacher can explain this. The structure that was found in 1994, called the Göbekli Tepe, has thrown off archaeology. They've been teaching forever that the Sumerians are the ones that had the first written language. But they found Göbekli Tepe, which is a structure that dates back to 11,600 years ago. At that time, these pillars weighed up to 10 tons each. They have these intricate carvings on them. Göbekli Tepe existed 6,000 years before the Sumerians and 7,000 years before Stonehenge and the pyramids. What they found that was so crazy is that these carvings have these very intricate layouts of the star constellations. And there's the star constellation called Vulture Stone. It depicts the alignment of the stars and the sun. It was a prediction of when the flood was going to happen. Every culture has a flood story. So the flood that the whole world talks about, that happened 5,000 years ago. This pillar is 11,000 years old and predicted the flood to the exact year.
First human ever created wasn't named Adam, at least not according to the oldest records we've ever found. In ancient Sumerian texts, thousands of years before the Bible, the story of a man named Adapa was carved into stone. He wasn't born, he was made, crafted by the god Enki from clay and divine blood, given knowledge, taught the names of all things. Sound familiar? That's because this story appears again later in the Abrahamic religions. In the Bible, Adam is formed from dust. In the Quran, from clay. And in both, he's taught the names of creation. But the Sumerian version is older, much older. In their story, Enki loved Adapa, treated him like a son. But Adapa defied the gods and refused the food of eternal life. He chose mortality, just like Adam lost Eden. Both were punished. Both were the first. Different names, same origin? Or is the story of humanity's creation a retelling of a much older truth? What if Adam was a DARPA all along? Keep searching for the truth.
The Rothschilds destroyed Tartaria. Please, let me explain. Their timeline is exactly the same as the reset. Take a look at this. If you look at the Rothschilds' timeline, it's the same as the Great Reset in 1776. Look at this, guys. It's uncanny. When the Rothschilds were becoming established, it's exactly the same time as when Tartaria was on their downfall and the reset was happening. Has anyone ever looked at this? It's obvious, guys. Again, in 1776, it's the same timeline as the Rothschilds' timeline. When they were coming into power, it was the same time as the Great Reset, guys, and the mud floods. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Also, this is the Rothschilds' humble abode. Look at the etheric technology on the top. I think they were a Tartarian family, and they took over, and they knew exactly what was happening, so they made a new world order. Also, the Rothschilds connected to the Oddfellows. The Oddfellows were in charge of all the orphanages through the reset, and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Bit weird, yeah? Also, the Rothschilds funded all the wars, and the wars were only there to destroy all of the old world architecture, guys. Ain't it really adding up now? Understand? And last but not least, the Rothschilds loaned £400,000 back in 1850s. Today, that would be 4.7 billion to the Catholic Church. Come on, guys. They took it from old world to new world, can't you see? And they also destroyed all of the world fairs.
Comment book. If you want to be the first to uncover what most will never know. It's time to understand what's really behind the story.
In the last 24 hours, two pillars of global influence have fallen. Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, and Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, gone. Just like that. No speculation, no spin, just fact. One resigned, one passed. Both considered architects of the modern globalist agenda. Both gone in a day. You won't see headlines connecting these two events. The mainstream will call it coincidence. But people are watching. People are feeling the shift. And let's be clear, this wasn't expected. Back in May of 2024, Klaus Schwab said he would remain at the helm of the WEF until at least 2027. He was adamant. The transition must be gradual, he said, and yet, just months later, he's gone, abruptly, quietly. These aren't just resignations or deaths. These are symbols of an era that may be ending. An era defined by control, centralization, ideology masked as inevitability. Globalism demands that nations surrender their independence to a global authority, political, financial, even spiritual. It asks you to trade we the people for they, the elite. That's not progress. That's the antithesis of the American experiment. Because the Declaration of Independence wasn't a suggestion, it was a rejection of exactly this kind of power structure. Sovereignty, freedom, self-rule. That's what's on the line. So what's happening here? Are the globalist foundations being dismantled? Is someone, some force, moving pieces off the board? We don't pretend to know the full picture, but we know this. Power doesn't give up without a reason. And when power does shift, it rarely does so with headlines. It happens in silence, in symbolism, in perfect timing. Watch closely, because the world just changed, and most people haven't even noticed yet.
They have been lying to you. There used to be a 13th month, but they erased it, leaving us with a false historical timeline. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII introduced the Gregorian calendar, but this calendar doesn't really make much sense. It was primarily designed to help people remember when to pay their taxes. The word calendar actually comes from kalends, an ancient word meaning account book. The months in our current calendar are a complete mess. March is named after Mars, the god of war. July and August are named after Julius and Augustus Caesar, who decided they should each have a month named after them. But this is where it gets scary. The order of the months doesn't make any sense either. Septem means 7, Octo means 8, novum means 9, and decim means 10. Instead, the 13-month calendar used by many ancient cultures follows the natural cycles of the moon. It has 13 months each with 28 days, and if you multiply 13 by 28, you get 364 days, perfectly matching the moon's orbit. The 13-month calendar didn't just disappear, it was replaced with one built for control, not the truth. Comment moon below and I'll reveal the name of the lost month.